Okay, we're back with another round one match of MechWarrior Online Championship Series 2023. Casters today are Therax and Level. Oh, hold on. My audio's not got you. Hold on one second here. Okay, there we go,
Of
Level.
course it doesn't. Oh no! You burst my bubble. I had good momentum there, and you just crashed that train.
I apologize.
Greetings, Mech Warriors. Welcome to the fourth match of the day. We got Mech Enjoyers versus FJORD. Starting here very shortly, we got the map pick.
Yeah.
We've been calling it map ban all day, but technically a map pick. Both these teams, they're what, 7th seed, 10th seed, if I recall correctly?
Yes, 7th seed for Mech Enjoyers and 10th seed for Hunters of the Fjordlands, or FJORD.
It should be a good matchup.
Yeah. These, I'm hoping to see some close games. Maybe we'll get to, fourth drop or even fifth drop. I'm hoping maybe Polar Highlands here, but
Yeah, we haven't got to the 5th drop yet, which has been unfortunate. We've gotten to 4, almost had a 5th drop, but no dice yet.
yeah. So just waiting for. Okay, first map has been selected. It is Vitric Station. Mechanjar is picking that one.
Of course. Do we have a panel with us this evening? I have not checked.
Okay, Polar Highlands is map 2. We do get to see Polar Highlands, so a little bit excited about that. First time of the day that we're seeing Polar Highlands.
Yes.
Hibernal Rift on map 3.
FJORD. Oh.
Mining Collective map 4.
Love you, Booze.
If needed. And then the final map is going to be Crimson Strait. Again, it's a best of 3, so we might not see Mining Collective and Crimson Strait played, but we will see Polar Highlands played. And teams are choosing team sides now. Mech Enjoyers is going to be Team 1 on Vitric Station. Waiting for a team selection here out of Hunters of the Fjordlands, FJORD. They are going for Polar Highlands, Team 1. And on Hibernal Rift, we've got Mech Enjoyers as Team 1. So we're looking at Mining Collective selecting the team side. Now the ComQ stats on this are pretty one-sided. So yeah, Team 1 for Hunters of the Fjordlands. And on Crimson Strait, waiting to see what the team sides are. We're gonna have to switch team sides a fair bit here. Just about every drop it looks like so far. And Crimson Strait, Mech Enjoyers are going to be Team 1. So yeah, we're gonna have to switch team sides for each and every single one of these maps. We have a little bit of an officiating question here for someone who knows how this stuff works, perhaps.
One moment.
confusion in the lobby chat.
Okay, what are they asking?
Something about the map pick and ban select. I'm not familiar with the system. I haven't been involved with that myself.
Well, I picked 2 in a row. No, it was back and forth. No, the 5th map is automatically decided after both teams pick twice.
I believe both these teams are North American, so we're going to be on North American server for the entire match. Let's throw up the map strat here while we wait for the teams to get in. We're looking at Vitric Station as map 1. All right, so we've talked a little bit about Vitric Station today. For anyone who missed the stream load, let's go over it one more time. So we've got Team 1 and Team 2. It's almost mirrored, not entirely. I'm just going to make a quick change here. I want my proper lines. There we go. So typically you see teams play top. Just kind of both sides will send their main body up top. Generally speaking, up top is where you want to be on just about every single map. Then the question becomes if you're going to do a receive or if you're going to push forward. If you push forward, let's draw that out on the blue team side. You kind of go to the ramps perhaps to try and trade over the ramps, or even do a full send push over the ramps. Or you can sit back and kind of do a bit of a receive on the upper level, and potentially maybe even make use of some side positions. Maybe hard to say. I haven't seen them being used much here so far. But there are some back side corner areas that teams could elect to go for. And what we've seen actually be fairly popular here today with varying levels of success is instead of doing a full send push on the top, light mechs are sent instead to go for a low ground jump up. And when they jump up, they start brawling in tight on the opposing team, right on their bigs, at the same time hitting across the ramps with a full send from their assaults. Now, there are other ways of playing. We may or may not see this end up being a brawl. Teams could elect to play at range, and both teams could elect to try and play the range receive role instead of going up and fighting up close. So one of the things that we kind of named here, Mokor Alley, is it's a high ground elevated position off to the side, accessible by jump jets, and it gets very good shots in on anyone who's trying to push on the ramp. And so if you put something like, say, a Shadow Cat, or Hunchback 2C-A, although the Hunchback might be a little bit slow to get up there, but if you get the Shadow Cat up on the side, you can get some clean shots on the legs as people try to push in. And you also spread the distance a brawl team has to go from location 1 to location 2, even with jump jets. Going to take them some time to make that move.
Yeah, I will say we virtually saw this. What did Ghosty call it? The Mario jump?
Yeah, Super Mario strat with a jump up.
Which has been...
it's a new strategy. KDCM was debuting it back in the Invitationals, and they had used it, a modified version of it, back in Industry or Coalition Season 5, was it, in February? But it's interesting to see the evolution of competitive play on this map and how quickly that's become the standard go-to here for this week. So we'll see if it continues to be that way. Other ways of playing, you could play low ground skirmish, trying to get Theta, then just play on the ramps, maybe with receive at the back and some Pop-Tarts up close on the ramps, trading against the opponent's receive, or falling back if pushed. But this disruptive element of the jump up squad, if it's executed right, and you want to time those jumps all simultaneously from your low ground mechs at the same time as the bigs push across the ramps, You mess up that timing, it turns into like a series of 1v4s instead of a full-on send of 8v8 or
Yeah.
4v4.
Um, to add to what you're saying, yeah, one thing we did see all day is we've seen this strat all day, and then the timing is where it mattered.
Yeah,
Because if the bigs start too early, uh,
they get focused hard.
yeah, they get focused so hard that, but maybe one or two of their assault mechs are
Yeah.
picked by the time these lights can start picking mechs.
The lights need to
Um,
be engaged and turning mechs around, drawing some aggro before
yeah,
the
once
assaults
these,
hit that ramp, but not by a significant margin. You don't want to leave them hanging.
yeah, you only need it. It's one of those things that needs to be the timing needs to be down to the second, right?
Yeah,
Those lights could fight for a couple seconds alone, but yeah, those assaults, the big boys need to be coming over and dumping all their damage into asses because then it forces the enemy team to who am I giving my ass to, the lights or the bigs,
yeah.
or am I going to panic and drop and then leave us a man down, right? So yeah, it's been very fun to watch for
Um,
sure.
is your stream up level?
Uh, It should be
Okay,
in 150 seconds. I
okay,
had a slight issue
yeah,
where I was streaming it to my channel instead
okay.
of the.
So
But
it's
we're
corrected already. Great.
yeah,
Um, so we're just waiting for the second team to lock up here. We should run over the format for anyone not familiar. It's we're playing. It's a 5 cap conquest, but it's 8v8 in terms of the mechs on each side. It's a best of 5 series, and the other additional drop deck restrictions. You've got 480 tons hard cap, cannot go over 480 tons. Most teams will likely try to use the full 480. I think I saw a 475 tonnage drop earlier today, but typically you're trying to use up all the tonnage available to you. There's chassis restrictions in place. You're allowed up to 3 of a weight class. You cannot have 4 light mechs. You can only have 3 light mechs or 3 mediums. And on top of that,
no
there's a
duplicate
chassis
chassis.
restriction where you cannot have duplicates of a single chassis. You can't have 2 night gears. You can only have 1 night gear. Even if it's a night gear prime and a
Yeah,
night gear D, you can only have one of those. And again,
for
heroes are allowed, but the legendary mechs are currently banned, and also the Stone Rhino is banned. And the most recent um, Loyalty and Championship Series mechs, which do not have C-Bill variants yet, those are also banned. So looks like everyone's ready to go. So I'm going to switch over to the match screen here.
yeah.
And
I will point out. Remember, guys, the chassis thing. It's chassis, not variants. A single chassis might have a dozen variants, but you know, it's it's an easy for to forget distinction, right? Um, we see it happen all the time, so point that out.
yeah. All right. So we've got them kicking off here and drop one of the final match of the day. The Mech Enjoyers is coming in here, considered the favorite. They are the higher seed. Hunters of the Fjordland is known for brawling, and sometimes brawl can upset teams that are maybe not fully prepared for it, or how hard it's going to hit can be a surprise. A little bit of a leveling of the playing field that can occur.
Oh, you didn't just throw that level put in for little on me, did you?
Not intentionally, but I can try to work one in the future.
All right, I'm over here looking at ME. We got a Warhammer 2C ML, Viper F, Shadowcat MI, Supernova Broiler, Mislinks, SR Mislinks, Phoenix Hawk 7S, Crusader 16, a Highlander 2C. That Highlander is probably Peeps. No, it is LBX, Large Pulse, and SR. They put all the guns in it.
So Hunters of Fjordland is running a lot of Pop Tart mechs, lots of ERPCs, and when they're pairing that up with some Gauss ER large, so they are playing range. They have the Flea going for the early play on the cap, see if they can get that Theta cap and get out. Flea's not an aggressive mech here because it does not have the jump jets. It can't get from the low ground to the high ground, so it's going to be probably more or less dedicated to trying to cap. So it's pretty dedicated receive here from Hunters of the Fjordlands. They're going to use their Pop Tartars to skirmish up at the front of the ramps, and their heavier Direwolf and Mad Cat to set up on the sides. Actually, they're preparing on those side positions that I have not seen yet used today. I was wondering if this might show up. So that is an extreme range trader out of the Mad Cat. 4 ear large, 2 Gauss. Direwolf is the same type of build. It's a Direwolf A, not a Direwolf C. So it does not have the jump jets to go off to the side positions. It's going to be more stationary in the center of the Citadel, back Citadel location.
I will say Fjord and ME are playing this basically kind of mirrored. The biggest difference is Fjord has sent a Mad Cat off to the far side over here,
Yeah.
over by Gamma to get angles, which it could be interesting.
I mean,
I am looking up. There is an insane amount of UAVs over center. Both these teams have all the scouting information they could ever want.
this isn't a mirror and drop decks though. That Highlander's got that LBX-20 LPL. It's not going to be able to trade with these Pop Tartars very well. And the Subnose PPCs on the side of the Mech Enjoyers versus the ER PPCs on the sides of Hunters of Fjordlands. So there is a range advantage for Hunters of Fjordlands.
Now Iron Wolf, his CT is getting pretty weak. It's red armor, yellow structure. He needs to start being a little more careful because it doesn't look like there's anything he's
Yeah,
been
trades
trading with positively.
are somewhat even, but I'd say they're favoring Mech Enjoyers by a small margin.
Yeah, they definitely
Cap,
are.
the Flea is trying for Theta here, cannot get it, keeps getting shot well on the cap. Buck's in that Highlander now on the low ground guarding that Theta cap. Flea's got to be very
Well,
careful against that damage. The
as
triple
Ghosty, our
large
expert
pulse.
earlier said, if you don't take Theta early, right, it is so easy to get Overwatch over it to keep your opponent from getting it, right?
I mean,
And
Flea's
that's
very
exactly what's
small, so
happening.
maybe they can sneak it, or they could go for a back cap. I
That's
can
what I'm
see that
thinking. They need
cap
to
was
go back
currently
caps.
uncovered, so that'd probably be a better place for the Flea to try and get that cap.
Oh, hey, they slivered it.
Wow. So that is
I didn't
gone.
see that coming.
Yeah, snuck something in on there. Phoenix Hawk is an open side torso out of Iron Wolf Pack. Raven as well. They're not winning these trades with the Pop Tartars. I don't know how their bigs are doing in the trade department. Direwolf at 78%, and it's starting to move up. They might have to make a push here, even though they brought the more range. They just Mad Cat's already dropped to the low ground and starting to move up.
Uh, It seems right. Yeah, right now Fjord is doing these mid-range, close-range pop tarts, and ME has a better mechs for it. They have better builds, stuff that can fight
Yeah.
more at the close range. Now, if Fjord was hung back another 500 meters further back, things would probably be very different because ME seems to only have two range mechs. Everything else is kind of close and pop tarty.
Yeah. They aren't getting value out of the range on those ERPPCs, Hunters of the Fjordlands, with
Playing them
how
too far
close they're
forward.
playing them. Um, And they're balling up for a push, but that Highlander 2C with that LBX-20 triple large pulse, that's exactly the type of mech that wants to be receiving a push. Now it's in the low ground, not the high ground, so there's a possibility that when this Direwolf hits, it could be a successful high ground push for Hunters of Fjordlands, but it's taking so long. There's so much armor bleeding out. Um, I am starting to fear for them, and the caps are continuing to tick in the favor of mech enjoyers here. More low ground
Yeah, they're
fighting.
definitely bugged.
Bucks is down to 60% here in that Highlander. The push hasn't started yet, so that might matter. Viper from Hydro Kyle is at 50%, open leg on it, and other mechs also taking some significant damage. The Ebon Dragoon Mistlinks from Call Me Gil is legged. Here's the push.
Yeah,
The push. It's an
uh,
aborted push. They started the push onto the Highlander. Highlander's one touch center torso. Hunchback is also critically wounded, 30%.
yeah,
Does get the
they're
kill.
not.
And Hydro Kyle, 50%. Are they legged yet? No, they are not. That Viper needs to get legged yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, that Mislink did a good job blocking Hydro Kyle from certain death, but I think yeah, the Mislink does go down now.
So looks like both teams trading out here, but Hunters of Fjordland is such a lower percentage at the start of that push. They're now down to three
Yeah,
mechs here, and
this Summoner's going
Summoners
to go down
halved.
and then it's over.
Yeah, that Mad Cat 50% is finally getting up at the fight. Has an open side torso though, so it's not even fresh. And the Viper is lagging behind it with a crit red cherry CT. One touch of the machine guns and it goes down.
Now I will say, I saw it. Fjord range traders they got up here into a forward position. Not the best idea, but they pulled the range traders from the back, put them forward like they're going for a push, but then it was just stalled. They completely stalled out,
It took a
and
long
then
time for the Direwolf to get up there.
yeah, it not only did it stall out, the team kept like doing these little solo pop tarts and stuff. And as we saw, they just kept bleeding armor. You know, they got antsy, and it just took them too long to make something happen. They got
Yeah.
um, But otherwise, I mean, when the push did happen, they didn't manage a couple pretty quick kills. But they just did not have enough HP to see it through, no matter how it landed at the end, which is a slight unfortunate. But it is Fjord. They did actually do pretty good.
Yeah, that's a very good point about the pop tartars. If you are not coordinated in your jump, you're kind of just showing one mech at a time to be focused out, and that can end up not going very well.
Yeah, definitely. If you're taking, as people have always told me, if you're taking a fight equally, 1-on-1, if you're not dead certain you can out trade that you're better than that person you're fighting 1-on-1, you're doing your team a disservice. You should always be trying to take every fight 2v1. Always take every fight where you outnumber the opponent, right? With your trades and stuff. Because if you don't, your opponent will.
Yeah. So the other thing is that they didn't have anyone on the side angles, the flanks. So it's there's just one direction that people need to be looking for those pop tartars. You're not having to look also off to the side. There was no um, shadow cat or something off to the side doing distracting, putting some distraction on. Everybody was just one at a time popping in front of them at the ramps.
Yeah. So basically, what you drew on here, or what is already drawn on here, is pretty accurate to exact everything happened. Except more Mokor's alley. We didn't see a lot of playing there. Almost the entire fight universally happened right here. Uh, Outside, the traders on each team, but see a lot other than like taking caps. Once the caps were taken, people didn't go much further outside of just this circle. A quadrant inside the quadrants.
Yeah, so we've got the two teams here going on to Polar Highlands next map. I will go ahead
Yay!
and
We've
flip
been
that
asking
over.
all day.
Yeah, first time we've seen it today. It's not the most popular map, so to see it picked as the second map played, maybe a little bit unusual. Not a bad thing. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. You want to go ahead and etch a sketch something on there for us?
Yeah. Okay. So what team's Fjord on right now? They are team
Oh, they
two
switched to team one.
or team
So
one. Sorry.
yeah,
All right. So, well, we thought Fjord might do a push strat in the last one. I mean, they tried at the end, but they did not take a push step for sure. Uh, so I'm not going to say they're definitely going to push here, but if they were, let's do a push line just for funsies. You do something either this or this because you don't want to push through the center, surprisingly, because you'll just get your push, especially your murder ball, bottlenecked, and then it'll just die to the mechs up high, right? So you always go to the outside and roll in. Uh, you know, corral them like best way to think about it is you're a cowboy corralling livestock, right? Corral. If you push around the outside, if they want to fight you out here,
yep.
a lot easier to push brawl them. That they pull inside, then you got them right in your trap because then you take all this high ground and then jump on them where they don't have cover anymore. Otherwise, what I'm expecting to see is I expect Team Two with Emmy. They now as we saw their last deck, they like to play aggressive. So I don't know how much long range they're going to do here. I've never seen them play on this map, so I'm not sure if they do range. They'll probably have someone here. Yeah, you
Yeah.
did circles. That's
So
better.
I'm putting a couple circles down at Kappa and Gamma, not because of the cap points themselves, but because these are terrain features. Hard to see in the all white of Polar Highlands on the minimap, but these are high points that give a commanding view of the battlefield. It takes forever from spawn to get there, but if you do, you have a good range position that you can anchor from. Now, you don't take both Gamma and Kappa, you take one or the other. And then you put some other mechs kind of in the high ground positions near Theta, and potentially also using Sigma or even some open terrain out behind these cap points, and kind of try to do a 2 or 3 cap anchor with that. And we might see an early rush for Theta, early skirmish for Theta. We could also see a cap mech that runs from spawn, scouts the cap to make sure it's safe, grabs it, and then continues on to the backfield of the opponents and just continues a giant circle around the map of grabbing caps. Now, this is such a big map. These grids, there is the best way to tell the scale on here. Last map, Vitric, it was what, 4 grids long. here on Polar, because of the distance, if you start to get a cap lead and you've got one mech just going around grabbing the caps, it can
Yeah.
quickly get out of control and it's just over before the other team
Yeah.
even notices.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
And if you are
Polar.
playing a range receive more centered toward Theta, not playing toward the Gamma Kappa point, you definitely need to start scouting it early, either from Theta or some sort of jump mech nearby, and then start peeling back, because you do not want to be up close on Theta when you get pushed. You want to have a little bit more of the more rolling terrain as opposed to the cliffs that you see near Theta. You want to be receiving further back, like a grid square further back than where you would set up if you were playing mid-range trade mechs.
Now, the early cap and scout on Theta is going to be important.
Yes, scouting is absolutely critical on this map. You need to know if the
Yeah.
opponents are brawling so that you can set up for it. If they're trading, you want to start moving to take power positions before they get in their power positions, and you have to move through the open to get to yours. Um, and
Yeah,
also,
this
you
is
need to
one of those
know if the
maps.
caps are a concern or not.
Speed matters. Like, speed matters a lot.
Yeah, speed matters, um, partially because of the size of the map and partially because of the distance from the spawns to Theta. Like that is a significant walk considering how far back both of these spawns are set.
Yeah, I think with like 48 kph mechs, they'll still be waddling to position in like H8, I6, or H12, or more like H11, I11. When this happens, right? So, that's
Yeah,
another thing. Whoever gets Theta, that if it's a wolf pack or a lone
yeah,
guy, the heads have to be on a swivel because they have no backup if things go
yeah.
south.
It's risky to send less than 4 mechs to Theta, because if your guys get caught there, there's no support for them for quite some time. And you want to either be able to deny the cap being taken by your opponents or try and jump their mechs even and get some quick kills, because um, if you can get Theta, it's pretty easy to deny it by having mechs nearby that just scrape the armor off of whoever goes for it.
Yeah.
Looks like teams
Um.
are ready, so let's get this kicked off.
All right. It's been a good series of games today. They've all been fun to watch.
Yeah, it's a big day of comp. First week kicking things off. There's more to come. Basically every Saturday here on out through the remainder of October and I think the first 3 weeks of November. So hit a follow on the channel, and maybe go check out the YouTube channel, MWO Leagues as well, to see pick up any matches that you might have missed.
It's really kind of crazy to think about. Over 100 teams, and at the minimum, at least 800 pilots, 800 to 1,200 pilots.
Yeah,
You know, it's it's been a great comp season, and it's nice to see such a large percentage of the active community participating in it this year.
yeah. I'm going to be looking at Hunters of the Fjordlands mechs here. We've got a little bit of time to look at these builds considering their speeds,
Yeah,
and then I'll let you run through Mech Enjoyers.
sounds good. I'm flying over there now.
We have a Hellfire with mid-range Vomit, Heavy Large, ER Mead. Commando's going for caps, just 2 SRM6. That is going to be a big engine in that little mech. Gargoyle, Speed Brawl with red lasers, Executioner, 2 LPL. It's got 6 ER Meads though, so it's not just pure red laser. That's a mid-range Vomit. The Skull Hero of the Orion 2C has Mask. Mask is important on this map to get the speed. LBX-10, triple ER Peeps, so like a hybrid mid and long range type setup. Shadowcat's 2 ER Peeps, so that's Pop Tart, has backups. Um, the red lasers on the Black Lantern. Viper going for that cap point with heavy machine gun and some red lasers. And I think I got all of them.
Well, we got your standard comp Wolfpack over here from ME. Phoenix Hawk, Lantern, Viper, and Mislinks. I gotta double check the Viper. Mislinks is definitely SRMs. It's on this Viper. Can I click it? There we go. It's machine guns with pulse. So yeah, this is a knife fighting Wolfpack. Definitely designed for kills. Uh, Looking over here at the big squishy mechs, very far away. We got a Crusader. That's it. Medium lasers, binary. That has a whole bunch of different lasers.
Theta's
Large
uncontested.
pulse, stalker,
Sorry, keep going.
and then we got a heavy gauss, large pulse, Warhammer 2C. And is Carbon DC?
Uh, I have not
He's not moving.
received any notification.
Well,
Now,
it'd be too late for
the
them to do
rule
anything
book
about it now.
at up to 2 minutes, isn't it? Or is it only
Or
90
until a
seconds?
cap is taken. Once its
It
cap's
doesn't
taken.
say anything about caps. It's
Uh,
about kills, not about
all
caps.
right.
Caps does not stop them from
Well,
calling a
neither team
hold.
has called a hold.
Yeah, and then
It's
we're past
not
that
out of
on the
place.
timer as of now, at least. So
Yeah,
they're going
I
to be
think Carbon
playing. There's
CC.
time for him to reconnect, but he's going to be way out of position. And the team looks hesitant as to whether they keep on with this push or if they back up. And they're down a cap this entire time he's disconnected. Uh, that the cap could end up mattering. It looked to me as though Mech has brought a push deck with a lot of mid-range vomit, and SRMs on the misslings tells me that they want to dive with it. The SRMs aren't so good against other lights and mediums. You want to get on the bigger mechs with that. So this is giving
Looks
a
like
lot of time for Hunters of the Fjordlands to set up
uh,
here.
Carbon's now moving. I didn't see him disconnect or reconnect,
Yeah,
so something must have been happening on his end.
something happened. He has a Mistlinks escorting him to an extent, trying to screen a little bit. Now, Mistlinks is getting caught though. Well, who is getting caught here?
Oh,
Marquis de Lafayette has been legged in that Black Lantern hero,
oh,
and
they took
Carbon's
this
about
fight
to
too
get in
soon.
the fight. Was that an ambush? Was it a disconnect or an ambush? But we have a fight here. Executioner is open in the back from Iron Wolf Pack and in the front now. Looks to go down shortly. Carbon Fire is on the flank, free farming right now. Uh,
This is too big brain to be an ambush. This had to be a happy accident.
I think it's a happy accident as well, but the percentages and the kills are chaining hard here. This is going fast.
Fjord took this
No
like
return
we were
kills
talking
yet.
about. If you're going to push, you cannot do it inside these canyons
Yeah,
because that's exactly what happened. Emmy took the high ground, and look at all the dead Fjord pilots in the canyon. That's why you have to, if you're doing a push deck, you got to stay on the outside, wrap around the enemy
yeah.
team,
It's a
and
four
push
cap right
them.
now, but the Shadow Cat got legged and killed, so it's just the commando now running around the edge of the map, happily trying to take some caps. So that entire fight, they were down a pilot, Hunters of the Fjordlands. Um, the capping commando is doing what the capping commando does, but Hunters of the Fjordlands got a little bit too close to the flame and got burned.
Now, another issue is I saw when Marquise was down there in that low ground. It was just him and one other guy in that fight,
Yeah,
while the rest of Fjord was still climbing the other side of this ridge before they dropped into the fight. So, uh, you know, it's it was another issue like we saw in earlier drops today of timing, right?
yeah.
Very strong pushes that we've seen all day. It's just that what where they failed the most it was on their time
So
more than anything.
I guess we should look into any chance for Hunters of the Fjordlands to win here. I think a two cap might be enough, but the Commando is going to have a hard task of getting that, seeing as there isn't a single mech down on Mech Enjoyers. They can split for the caps and keep a couple of their more wounded leg mechs together on Theta. And this Commando just took a big burn. It's still okay. It's a Commando. It can take some damage.
Uh,
Um,
I don't
but
think he has any chance.
yeah,
See, he's
the
running in
caps
the
have been
center.
flipped. There's only one cap
Yeah.
currently ticking for Hunters of the Fjordlands. Uh,
Now, if they manage to kill, if Fjord managed to at least kill part of the enemy wolf pack, right?
yeah,
And then send off not just the commando, but the shadow cat, for example,
yeah.
to run for its
I
life
mean,
too.
four
It,
cap to one, that's a very dangerous territory to be in. But you need to have like six mechs remaining on mech enjoyers at that point, or five mechs even, where the commando could maybe get a pick, or somebody's too slow to rotate caps to keep up with the commando. But with eight mechs up, it's just too hard of an ask out of that
yeah.
commando to try and pull it back.
Now, because of how dominantly they did get that four pack, would Fjord been better off going full cap strat and going lighter on the lights, like
Um,
stuff that can just outrun
I,
everything?
I don't think it's a drop deck issue. They just got picked, and part of that pick is due to whatever happened with Carbon Fire. I
Yeah,
don't I don't know
Carbon.
what that was, but
If you're
something went
listening,
on.
yeah, did you get called away from the keyboard, or was like that like a big brain ambush where you're hugging a
Yeah.
wall and looking into it.
I've got the damage up on the screen. So the Captain Commando was under 100 damage as expected, but Marquito Lafayette in the Black Lantern, who got picked early, 50 damage. The Executioner from Iron Wolf Pack, he was getting cored front and rear, only put out 42 damage before going down. Like that's where it fell apart. It just you had two mechs picked with less than 100 damage in a fight that started off as well. I mean, the Commando wasn't there at all, so it was 8v7 the entire time. Like you just can't come back from that.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw the map strat up while I move on to the next map. Next map is going to be Hibernal Rift, so we get another white-looking map.
Oh, I was just about to doodle on the last one. Fine then, I'll doodle on this one. All right, so FJORD is what? There's still Team 1, right?
They're switching teams coming up on this next one here. So Mech and George is going to be Team 1.
Okay. So Mech and George's Team 1, well, we're talking to Ghosty and Dyer in the previous match earlier, you know, how they talked about, I'm just going to redraw it, how important this ridge line actually is to keep, or at least have a presence on. Because if you give it up, it just gives your opponent too much good ground to like swing around the map. Now, coming on strategy, um, we saw a lot of teams die here. Let's do a little start at the shipwreck. Pushes, retreats, and pushes. Just a lot of death there. Now, in the previous game, we saw more of a fight over here, which is where these boxes come from. Enemy team had Trader here, and or not enemy team, Team 2, and then Team 1 had Trader here. With I expect Emmy to play this side of the map like we've seen all the other big teams do. They'll have some presence at Theta, but I expect them to be aggressive. I don't know if they're going to have if they have a range trader, they'll have one to play this box. Otherwise, I expect them to keep doing what they've been doing. And their strategy so far the last two drops has been mid range aggression.
Yeah.
They're not NSRing, but
they're pushing.
They're constantly taking more ground.
Yeah,
and
it's about it's not about the red lasers or the SRMs, but it's about the LPLs and the binary lasers. That's what they're bringing. Kind of like a slow moving push, not a dedicated rush, and but definitely not sitting back. Now I'm going to go ahead and point out an alternate strategy that they could crack out here. I'm going to draw it in a purple line just to differentiate a little. I believe we were referring to it as the Aussie Twilight, and it is a Kappa-centric play where Team 1, instead of going to the right side playing Bucket Hill or even playing Theta, you make a play through the trenches, try to maybe get a pick around Kappa with your light pack, while also sending your mediums and heavies and so on through the trenches to show up back at where the enemy team spawn to an extent. What you're trying to do with that is you're trying to pick mechs off that are sitting on this back ridge line in kind of on the far side of Theta in the Bravo 3 area. So if you can show up a little bit unexpected, the trench that they need to escape in turns into a kill box, and they can't get any support from Volcano or from any mechs that might have been trying to wrap around Epsilon's side. And even from Theta, the mechs on Theta, they're faced with the challenge of dropping down if they're short range into a kill box where they have no range support, or maybe just trying to pull back. And sometimes if you get far enough unspotted, as the Team 1 side pushing here, you might be able to get some picks on whatever they put on the back ridge line. And the other option is you can also just run through Theta if you decide to go with a more direct push line instead of trying to sneak stuff around Kappa. That's something we saw with another team earlier today. I forget which team it was. It was against 5JDX, so that would be GNX, right? They just a hard push across Theta and kind of caught the other team, 5JDX, in a bit of a kill box here, in that Charlie 4 low ground, which is somewhere you do not want to be retreating through or having your push stall out in.
Has anyone ever seen like an old Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoon where like two hammers, he'll set up a trap and two hammers like smash into him after the Roadrunner runs through? This is going to be a very niche and maybe like 10 people are going to understand what I'm talking about. That's what happened to Django right here. He was in a Crusader, and GNX rolled this way and this way right on him, and then and then managed to pick off uh oh Brower and was it was
Yeah,
it
it
Brower
was
and Bacon
Brower
Lord?
in the was it Phoenix Hawk, I think, who
Yeah, and
was
then
trying
Bacon
to like
Lord.
go
Yeah, yeah.
around for some backstab action, got kind of caught and couldn't get out in the retreat. Mechs got legged in the low ground, and there's no support when you're in that pit from the mechs that are set up in the Bravo 5 volcano. They can't see over the ridge line here.
Yeah. All right, Team One's locked. Team Two, 5 minutes. All right.
Yeah, just waiting for these teams to indicate that they're ready to keep going. I mean, the match is currently set 2 wins for Mech Enjoyers over Hunters of Fjordlands. Hunters of Fjordlands needs to pull out the reverse sweep here to continue in the winner bracket. Now, I'm going to go ahead and check the bracket here. The winner of this drop will go on, or of this match, sorry, will go on to face Obbins in the winners bracket. So losers bracket, actually, I wouldn't be able to figure that out as well. They would be going on to face. Actually, no, that team has not been determined yet. But whoever loses here goes to the loser bracket 1.2 match, where they face the team that loses the Equilibrium versus Clan Crossfire match that is going to be played in next week. So both those are relatively strong teams. So I mean, there's no easy teams in this in the top 12 here of MechWarrior Online Championship 2013 series. So um,
Both teams have locked.
you always want to get those wins. Okay, so everybody's locked, then we are ready to switch our scenes. I'll give us a little quick countdown and get us into that match. Now, Mech Enjoyers is at 475 tons to 480 tons out of Hunters of the Fjordlands FJORD. Now, that said,
Well, what
5
happened to the
tons.
countdown?
Sorry. Yes, I launched the match. Sorry, I gave the teams a countdown, not you. Uh, so
Oh
yeah,
shoot.
5 tons, not a big deal. 475, 480. It's such a small percentage that's not really going to tip the strategy or provide much indication.
All right, I'm gonna play a little mech fashion show here. See what Fjord's made out of. Very wrestle hoggy.
I'm gonna cheat and
That
start
one.
going through the builds
We got a
here.
Crusader, who's also a Crusader. Very, very nice.
So we've got a brawl push here out of Hunters of the Fjordlands. Red lasers and SRMs out of linebacker, Crusader, Crusader full red lasers, Viper, Black Lantern, and just full push. But they are doing a Kappa play. They're not doing an Epsilon push. They're going to be led by a Executioner with 2 LPL and red laser. Oh, sorry, it's got ER meads as well, and a Summoner. Now Iron Wolfpack's not moving. I have not seen a hold called. Now they're
Now
moving.
he's
Summoner's
there. He wiggled
SRMs.
his feet. He was just waiting on his team.
I was wondering
Um,
if he disconnected there or something after initially moving.
I still gotta
Um,
find out what happened to Carbon.
Scout is,
Squishy is scouting from center in the Phoenix Hawk with double
yeah,
snubs.
I don't think this has been spotted yet, but they're definitely looking Shadowcat with mid-range vomit, Viper with machine guns, Phoenix Hawk with snub-nose PPC, red laser, and we do have mechs setting up the Supernova Broiler with heavy Gauss and LPL setting up on Bucket Hill. Bucks and the Warhammers also in a receive position, looking to his left though, as they have not seen any mechs at Volcano, so kind of tells you, something's coming, but they don't know what yet. Marauders,
I'm a
Hag,
little worried
and
about this.
LPL.
Emmy has a
Crusaders,
full firing
Oxheart.
line. They're looking exactly where Fjord's going to be running up that ramp.
Yeah.
I think Fjord needed more lights on the flank to pull
Yeah.
fire.
Well, there's 2 mechs moving on the flank here around Epsilon. I don't know how the time is going to work here. I think I
Oh,
see
that
some weapons
linebacker's
fire.
getting thrashed.
Yeah, the linebacker. Oh, that's a jump backer. He's got jump jets in that thing.
Okay, Lantern fire start. They're doing a three-way pinch here. Fjord's trying. This is a big brain strat here.
Wow. Yeah, full-on hardcore press here. That's going to make it difficult for them to focus targets, though, whereas the
Dyer
team
and
with
Andy
range
both go
will
down.
still be able to focus fire.
All right, Fjord pulling down on Fury.
2
They need
kills.
to keep this up. They need to keep
Uh,
this up right now.
looks like most of their megs are still moving. They're not getting legged. So next one up, they're calling the Supernovas the called target here. Very decided brawl coming in. Supernova's already legged here in a second.
Executioner and Warhammer
Kills have
Manual
evened up.
go down. But this brawler or this broiler needs to go down. If they can take
Yeah,
down
it's
this
taken a
broiler, they
little
can
bit
flip this
long.
back in their favor.
Crusader's down to
He's down. He's down.
45%. Almost legged.
They're going after Batchall now. The Shadow Cat.
Yeah, Shadowcat, you don't want those legs to get out. Shadowcat's been legged. What about the
Oh,
Viper? Viper's
Shadow
legged as
Cat's also
well.
one touch in the back. He's also one touch in the back. Do they notice it? No, they
Squishy
don't.
is Squishy. No, Squishy's still fresh. Squishy could carry this potentially. And there's also Mistlinks. The Mistlinks is looking legged though. Yeah, Mistlinks is legged, so it's all down to Squishy. Can Squishy kite this out? Some of those PPCs does not give a
Uh,
range advantage, but they have a mobility advantage. Well, do they? The Firestar is still moving with speed. Oh, that Mistlink's picked up a kill yet before going down, even though it was leg. What was taking so long?
they two of them ran off. It was only the Crusader fighting it.
That's not very. I mean, that Crusader could have
Yeah,
gone and limped to a cap point, even if it was legged. So
I
we're down
agree.
to Summoner. Summoner looks like a lot of rear damage, but
Uh,
otherwise it's moving okay. I don't know what its ammo count is at.
Now, Emmy has the cap advantage. But
Yeah,
it's still early.
it's still
These two
very early on
mechs
caps.
need to work together. Squishy is a big threat. He's played
Well,
for teams like EMP.
yeah,
He's if if he gets a chance, he has enough armor and HP. He can tackle both these guys one on one.
yeah.
Uh,
But
and
they
it looks
have
like
to
that's what
split
he's
up
going
for
to
the
do.
caps, though.
I
FJORD
think
needs the caps. They're trying to regroup now after having flipped caps. Now, does Pew Pew Gunther actually know that Squishy's coming after them? They're twisting like they do. I think they've spotted
yeah,
it.
he
They've called
has
for
to know.
assistance, but they need to hold on for another 30 seconds. Turning around to not give their back is a smart decision here, seeing as their rear is already yellow and open. Open side torso on the summoner. If that side torso is taken out, that slows the mech down as well.
Summoner needs to just hide. He and just wait for this fire starter to engage.
Now it's 3
And so
caps to
then he
1
can
right now.
re-engage.
Squishy cannot take too long to get the kill here. Even if it picks up 1 kill, the caps are still disfavorable. Firestarter's coming in. Firestarter, every time the Phoenix Hawk turns around, the Firestarter is going to gain ground. How's that Firestarter looking health-wise? Open side torso, that's going to be an Inner Sphere extra light engine. So if that side torso pops, that mech is dead. And that arm also has weaponry, so losing that arm took 2 small pulse lasers out. Phoenix Hawk, Phoenix Hawk has driven the Firestarter away. Firestarter is retreating. Summoner's going to have a hard time catching up here, but they're moving to take Theta. And Squishy at the same time, they're trying to defend Theta. They're not going for the cap. It's 3 caps to 1. Theta would make it 4 caps to 0, so that's a big deal. Summoner's going to have to take the cap here as Artillery Hamster has no health remaining. Both side torsos are open, and again, that's going to be an Inner Sphere extra light engine, so as soon as the side torso is gone, that mech is dead. Theta has been decapped, but not flipped. Decap is good enough at this situation, but... Oh, Phoenix Hawk's
They
leg.
legged him! They legged him! He ain't getting away!
Yeah, it's over. Even if they win this fight, I don't think they could get to the caps in time. Well played from Hunters of the Fjordlands, even at the end there. The proper coordination and movement between Artillery Hamster and Pew Pew Gunther managing to find that leg off that Phoenix Hawk finally.
What a clutch. Well done, boys. Sorry, I'm totally biased on that one. Because we get to go to drop 4.
I'm excited about drop 4 too. We haven't had enough
That's
drop
solid.
4s today.
No. Squishy in the Phoenix Hawk, 2 kills, 4 assists, 654 damage. Pew Pew in the Summoner, the 684. That beautiful SRM shot that took Squishy's leg. Chef's kiss, my dude.
I was wondering how much ammo that Summoner had left. I mean, it was running 8
He couldn't
SRM
have
6.
much.
Like, it could have been, maybe even the final shot there. Didn't get that information provided by the players, so I'm assuming not. But, yeah. I mean, Summoner put out
Now,
almost 700 damage in that drop. Linebacker being the early sacrifice has under 100, but Squishy's put out 650 for Mech Enjoyers. A couple other relatively large numbers. Carbon Fire in the Supernova, putting out almost 600 as well. But in the end, Hunters of the Fjordlands picks up the win. I'm going to flip you over to the map screen as I've got to do some switching again.
All right. So this actually is a lot more straightforward than our doodles suggest. All right.
Which map are we going to?
I think mining's next.
Mining. All right, so here we go, Mining Collective.
All right. This was a map drawn by in the last match, and I think it's still pretty accurate here. Now, question is FJORD going push again? It worked well for him the last time. As everyone knows, Cakes, this building, Citadel, also known as a word that isn't appropriate for kids. I basically I expect traders taking these spots, and then a fight. I expect some sort of fight over Echo 4. I think it's a power position, because once you have Echo 4, you could get Crossfire into like Delta 3 relatively easily from there. And 2v1 these traders with the guys over here. So I expect both teams kind of go for this unless FJORD is planning a full rush deck. But Emmy, as we have seen this whole time, they still like to take their mid-range, mid and long range decks, but they do it aggressively. So I do expect them to try to get as forward as possible, apply pressure, force the enemy into either kind of pocketed over here, and then I expect them one way or another to wrap somehow.
Yeah, so
basically an L shape.
I'd expect aggression here out of Hunters of the Fjordlands. That's, if I was Mech enjoyers, I'd be expecting that too. So maybe they pull the bait and switch here, but
well, so far looks like 2 Alpha 2 Bravo 4 Charlie. So usually a push deck will stack one side or the other. So they might be going for more of a traditional trade strat, with traders on the edges and then their Wolfpack starting center, something like that.
My apologies for whatever stream quality issues might have happened. My stupid Windows decided it was a good time for an antivirus scan. Sometimes I hate Windows. Yeah, this stream not sponsored by Windows because I hate them. Okay, so this team 2 is heavily favored on this map.
Shut down by Bill Gates now, you jerk.
He doesn't own us. Jeff Bezos does. All right, so Team 2 is heavily favored on this, is what the quick play stats are showing. It's like a 55% win rate on the Team 2 side versus a 45% win rate on the Team 1 side. And again, for anyone new, it's because there's open gaps here looking toward Theta from the Team 2 side and closed wall looking from the Team 1 side. So Theta is kind of an easier position to grab for Team 2. At least that's why I'm assuming that the win-loss ratio is so heavily
I think you're right,
favored on
even
this map.
In quick play, Team 2, some long-range assault guy on Team 2 is going to camp right here.
Oh, that's me.
Because it's not, and he's going to shoot every light.
Yeah.
That tries to go for Theta in the early game, right?
Well, actually, my favorite part in quick play is when the rotation comes through here, I start farming their low ground guys, and they never send anyone over here to challenge me. But,
yeah, that's what I was going to say is the next thing.
Competitive's a little bit different. Where I'm expecting the fight would be the Echo 4 high ground position, where both teams are likely to send either try and take it for range, because as Team 1, if you get mechs up here, you have an eye onto Theta. Maybe you can grab the cap yourself, or probably it's too late to deny the opponents, but maybe it isn't. And from Team 2, you also want this position. It's an excellent range position, and if you're brawling, it's somewhere you're going to have to jump up and flush out the opponent's mechs. So we'll see whether or not FJORD can pick up another win here against Mech enjoyers. Bring this drop 5, which would be, so far we haven't had a drop 5 yet today in these matches.
Nope.
We've had close matches, but nobody's taken it to 5. So.
Man, we've had a lot of close drops.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that last one was 2 mechs alive, 1 mech dead, and it wasn't even healthy percentages on the 2 mechs, so very much a close drop. good matches overall today. I would say very many close drops, and it's good to see teams even playing and employing some different strategies on the maps.
Team 2 is green boarded.
Oh, okay. Well, then I can switch over to my map and give the teams a countdown and get it going.
There you go.
Yeah, so we're not radio casting here. We're on the proper screens. We'll see what happens. And not only will we see what happens, our viewers will get to see what happens too. If a comp match was played and nobody recorded it, did it really happen?
Oh, no. Nope. Yeah, since all the comp queue wasn't recorded, I don't believe anyone won any matches.
Well,
I call it all sus.
I recorded all the ones I was in. All right,
Well,
I hear
DPS does
music.
too.
What do we have? I'm looking at Mech Enjoyers. I'm going to take a quick look, run through their mechs. This could be a fast one. Got to get it started quick. Fistlinks, it's the Ebon Dragoons, so that's SRMs, 4 SRM4. I'm getting over here to the rest of the light pack. Viper with red lasers, Dervish with Snubnose PPC, SRMs, and red lasers. Interesting build. Phoenix Hawk, Snubnose PPC, small lasers. We've got a Mad Cat climbing up top with Hag 30's LPL. That is not a range trade mech. They're going to have to get off that perch and push. Highlander, LPL, LBX20, SRM backup, Cataphract, AC10 light PPC, Cataphract. Really? And we have Red Laser Snubnose PPC Crusader. Beta has not been taken yet. There are mechs looking at it.
All right, so it looks like it's all mid-range trade mechs on Fjord side, except the light pack. The light pack is Knife Fighter.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting this is for sure a pushy deck. They have all their bigs on one side and all the lights are balled up on the other. I think they're expecting to cut into them in two directions.
Build-wise, I would call Hunters of the Fjordlands the range team here. It's close though. They are set up for mid-range play as well, but I think they have a slight range advantage if they have the aim for it. But both teams are stacking up, getting ready to push across the tabletop on the side here.
Now I believe ME's their UAV
Ooh,
spotted the lights, stacked that corner. Because they pulled back. It looks like.
I don't know. That Dervish is playing danger close, looking at the cap point. I don't know if they'd be doing that. Like, okay, Crusader here from Revan is open side torso. Executioner from Iron Wolf Pack.
All right, lights are going into pounce. Ramrod trying to get out of there, but he's being pounced.
Yeah. Hunters of the Fjordlands, they're stalling their push here. FJORD started a push. One mech peaked, backed up. Another mech peaked, backed up. They did get the pick here, but they've taken significant, meaningful damage on their other mechs.
Yeah, all their assaults took damage and are almost dead.
Yeah, there's a brawl going on in the backfield here. 2 assaults gone down for Hunters of the Fjordlands. Night Gear is trying to push off Mistlinks. There was a dive on the opposing side. Looks like Mech Enjoyers managed to survive the dive and kill off the diving mechs. There's only 3 remaining from Hunters of the Fjordland. And Night Gear, Artillery Hatch just took huge damage.
I think Fjord got baited by that Dervish. That Dervish, maybe he didn't know they were all there, but he was definitely getting angles on the stalled push.
It was a partial dive on the Dervish with 2 mechs peeking over the top into firing line and then backing up. So it wasn't a committed full team dive on the Dervish, but at the same time, that Dervish did have Overwatch, so it might have been bait. So this is a win here for Mech Enjoyers. They win the drop, they win the match. Well played from Hunters of the Fjordlands. They did pretty well. Relatively new team to competitive for the, 2 years old now, I believe. So
yeah. Also, ME is favored by a lot of people to get first or second. So Fjord put up a really good fight.
I don't know about first or second, but a top 5 team, I would say. And
I'm going to make you eat your words. I'm going to see you next weekend.
We'll compare brackets later.
Oh my.
Yeah, those fighting words. All right, I'm gonna pop the stats up on the screen here. Look at that quickly. So this one did not go for 5 drops either. We only got 4 drops out of this match. But we've got more matches coming up next week, so hit a follow on the channel. Keep an eye on the schedule. And yeah, what we're looking at for damage here, everyone's got an even damage spread. Very little standouts for either team. Nobody's cracked 500. Hunters of the Fjordlands has lower numbers as expected, but not, you know, outrageously so. The Dervish from Sir Ramrod did 330 damage before going down, and that was the mech that we thought was getting picked. So, you know, didn't go down very fast in all apparentness here. So interesting to see that. Do you want to run through map strat at all, or have we covered it to death? You figure?
I think I think on this one we've covered it pretty well. That
Yeah,
was a pretty straightforward. That D5 C5 IMI they set up. It looked like they kind of set up for their own push, but Fjord just happened to be pushing the same gap, and so a
yeah,
standoff happened in D4. Fjord's lights came towards D4. They tried to go for a pick on a dervish, and then Fjord kind of like half their team pushed, the other team didn't, the other
yeah.
half
I,
didn't,
I'm gonna
and
I'm gonna do a little bit of a etch a sketch here, just cause. Um, so it was a bit of a push out of Hunters of the Fjordlands. They did kind of feel out a little bit around Theta, but they were definitely looking more for a push. They did put their mechs up top on the cupcakes as if they were going to play range, but then they tried to push the ramps. And on the opposing side, I'm going to draw red circles for some mechs. Receive positions were set up in a number of areas, and then at the ramps, it was some peaks that weren't committed to, and this ambush squad that rolled around for the dervish. There is overwatch in that area, as this pipe tower right here is actually low enough mechs can see over it, or you can even put a mech on it, and that dervish had support covering them, even though they made what looked like a risky play toward Theta. They didn't go down fast enough when they got dove, and they got doved in a location that had some overwatch support. I think the biggest failure though was that push just didn't commit. Uh, it wasn't timed right. If they had circled around and you know hit on the dervish at the same time, then maybe rolled in, or even just full send commit, maybe it would have turned out a bit different. But it's always risky doing that push into what is essentially a concave here.
yeah, 100%.
Um, that kind of wraps it up for us, I do believe, right?
Absolutely for
We've,
tonight.
we've covered it here tonight. So this has been Therax. Joining me has been Level,
The
and
potato pope. Get it
yes,
right.
and yeah, that is the end of our matches for tonight. So thank you, viewers, for joining us. Thank you, teams, for coordinating with us to get these matches played out. Provide some entertainment for all of us.
Yeah.
Coming back next week, more of this stuff for quite a few weeks. So, and also a little shout out. There's some comp queue is still open. These top 12 teams are no longer able to play in it, but other teams may continue playing for another couple of weeks here. So you can form a team, join a team, look for a team to join by heading over to the
The
MWO
rewards
comp
are
Discord.
good.
And
Oh,
Level's actually trying to coordinate teams playing each other to try and get nice, even, fairly balanced matches for everyone.
yeah. If you're a rewards team and you got 5 of your buddies, you just need a couple more guys. Yeah, just hit us up over there. I'll be streaming the queue with my team uh, to Twitch here right when we're done with this tonight. And so yeah, if you need a body or anything, or if you want to come, or if you just want to see what comp is like, and you just want to do a single comp drop just to see what it's like, come stop by. We'll throw you on the team for a drop, and we'll even let you drop in your put your best foot forward. We'll let you drop in whatever mech you think you do best in, and then we'll play around you. So yeah,
All right, that's the end of our business for tonight. So we're signing off, we're getting off, and yeah, thanks for joining us.
see ya.